Flower man, when are you gonna grow?
Hi, I'm Dave Owens, your garden guy. Hey guys, you think about planting pots. A lot of your pots may look like this out throughout your house, but to rejuvenate these is very easy. First off, right underneath here, there's a lot of holes in this pot, and you want to make sure you kind of clean those holes out. Make sure you don't have a lot of debris blocking those, because a pot that doesn't drain is going to invariably have all kinds of problems. Two, we want to make sure we kind of invigorate that pot. We got to put different types of amendments in that pot. First and foremost, of course, is your compost. And when you're buying compost, you want a dark, rich material that's unidentifiable, and you shouldn't be able to smell any type of ammonia. If you smell any ammonia in there, you want to go ahead and put it back. So test your compost out. But putting some type of compost in this pot, anywhere from 4 to 6 inches is the ideal situation. Mixing it in well is going to go a long way toward stimulating that microbial activity that's so important to growing organically out here in the desert Southwest. Some other things we add in the garden or add in our pot is some of your different types of chicken granules or something along those lines would be the ideal. We'd use a little bit of extreme granules right there. But adding that in there is going to give yourself a nitrogen source, a phosphorus source, and a lot of those trace elements that are so important. Last but not least, the tilth is added to the soil. And the way we add tilth is to add a little bit of perlite. And you can see this right here, and it does a great job. Not only does it help hold moisture in the soil, but it helps out with drainage. So adding that into the soil itself is going to add that tilth and really give you a nice pot to work with later on when you start planting those vegetables, flowers, or seeds, or anything that you may want to plant later on during the fall, winter, or spring. Guys, when you're planting these raised beds in different types of herbs or vegetables, one thing you've got to do is you've got to add different types of beneficial insects. Why? Because we don't want to spray pesticides on our different herbs or vegetables and then go ahead and eat them. So what I do is I release these beneficial insects in the garden. No, that's not an insect, but that's a praying mantis asp or egg sac, and that has about 200 praying mantis in it. So what I do is I place these guys throughout the garden in different types of crevices in the trees or the plants or anything else where the ants can actually crawl to them. These guys will later on go ahead and hatch, and then ultimately go ahead and start taking care of those non-beneficial insects. There's a lot of different types of insects that we can release in the garden. There's another one, green lacewings, work out fantastic. And they're shipped in a little bit of sawdust right there. There's about 300 to 500 different eggs in there, but green lacewings work great. They're a small iridescent type of insect that actually flies around in our garden and does a great job on controlling those non-beneficial insects. Another one, if you got whitefly problems, you might want to try some Oncarsia formosa. They come on these small cards. You can take them apart, and you just take the card apart just like this, and you go ahead and hang that in a tree. There's about 200 eggs on that, and it does a great job on going ahead and controlling those whiteflies that are so prevalent, especially during the spring and summer. Something else we plant, or we actually utilize in the garden, is beneficial nematodes. And we mix this right into the soil when we're planting. It controls ants, controls termites, controls all kinds of different types of soil-dwelling insects. All of these you can get at our arborcoorganics.com or other sources. But remember one thing, when you're actually having these guys and releasing them in the garden, you want to make sure you have a lot of nectar sources. By planting a lot of different types of flowers and flowers from seed or transplants, you're going to make sure those beneficial insects last for years to come.